And our guests, plural, on this segment, Michael, Raye, and Sara Framel with Youth Services of Tulsa. It's good to have you guys here.
Thank you so much.
It's great to be here.
Welcome to our turf. Tell us about Youth Services of Tulsa. Who wants to do it?
I'll just jump in. Youth Services is a nonprofit agency in Tulsa. Next year, we're actually going to be celebrating our 50th year. It's basically just a really wonderful agency that helps at-risk youth, typically ages 12 to up to 24 years old.
At risk.
At risk of needing counseling, experiencing homelessness, needing health education, needing assistance in reentry from being involved in juvenile justice. We kind of hit on everything.
Oh Lord, you're a blessing in disguise. And you've been here how many years?
In 2019, it'll be 50 years. We'll be celebrating 50.
Golly, I bet you guys have seen a lot of traffic come through, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What specifically do you do with Youth Services?
I'm actually the LGBTQ plus program coordinator, so I work specifically with LGBTQ youth in the Tulsa and greater area, providing them leadership opportunities and opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily have otherwise, because a lot of times LGBTQ youth are the #1 population that are suffering from bullying, from abuse in general, things of that nature. So YST gives them the opportunity to get some of those things that they wouldn't otherwise in a safe, healthy environment.
You know, God love them. Kids today have so many things working against them, and they don't even realize it. That what they're up against is 3 and 4 and 5 times worse than their parents or grandparents ever thought about. And to hear, that there's a service available for these youngsters is incredible. Now, do you get references from the school or referrals from the schools? How do you get the youngsters through the door?
So in the whole agency or just for the LGBT?
Either one.
So the agency, we get referrals from really everywhere, schools, other counseling services and agencies, different community partners. A lot of our young people, word of mouth is very huge, specifically with our outreach department, which is primarily 17 to 24-year-olds that are experiencing homelessness. So word of mouth is something really, really vital.
So it counts for a lot.
Yeah.
Does the internet serve any useful purpose for you or for them in terms of getting the word out that there is someone out there that can help?
I would say so. We definitely have a presence on social media as well. We have Facebook accounts that give us the chance to reach out to youth in that way. But I would honestly say that word of mouth in the schools themselves are a big place in which we get a lot of our referrals. I know us specifically, the LGBTQ department, we work very closely with the gay straight alliances in the schools, and because of that, a lot of the youth that we see come from those programs.
I know for a fact that there have to be children that come in just, I'm lost. I'm totally lost. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. How do you handle a child like that?
I think it's always case by case. I think Youth Services, we really pride ourselves in problem solving. We can't always find a solution immediately, or maybe necessarily even the right solution, but we will always do the very best we can to, if we can't help them at Youth Services, we will do everything we can to facilitate and navigate them somewhere that can be helpful. So we take every situation, see how we can help, or see how someone else in the community can.
Do they stay on premises?
We do have a 24/7 youth shelter for 12 to 17-year-olds. That is limited to about 20 beds. So we do have young people that stay in our youth shelter, and that's on campus. That's 24/7. But no, the majority of our services are all, out in the community, or we have a homeless drop-in center that's open a few hours each day.
Excuse me for interrupting, you just tapped on something that I'm still trying to get my head around. The number of homeless children in this area is incredibly high. Is there any common denominator? Is there any reason for it, for the numbers that continue to grow?
I mean, I think that, you know, specifically if we're talking about LGBTQ community, you know, national numbers say about 40% of young people experiencing homelessness are, what is the word I'm looking for? Identifying themselves in that community. And then, you know, for young people that experience, you know, in their home life, or they have parents that maybe have substance abuse or mental health issues, maybe they themselves have substance abuse or mental health issues. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that can contribute to that.
Greater population in general.
I'm sorry, say again?
That's for the greater population in general, those particular instances, not just necessarily LGBTQ.
Right.
And I think it's one of those that the more of those things come to light, the more we realize that it truly is affecting the youth, and that's why we see more of an influx in people getting those services, because we have those services available now, not so much that it didn't exist before.
Something that, let me rephrase, let me stop, I'll come back to this. Don't let me forget what's right here. There have been a number of experiments with people who research folk would put through a trial and say, let's see how they react, and then go in and ask them questions. One of the more famous one has to do with a room evenly divided between men and women. And they've done it with different age groups, where they've got, say, 5 or 6 folks with a basketball, passing it around, bouncing it, passing it around. And they do it in such a seemingly random manner that the folks really, you know, it's predictable. They know where the ball is going to go. And then in the door comes a guy in a gorilla suit. And they pass him the ball, and he passes it around and passes it around, and all of a sudden he leaves. After about 10 minutes, they stop the action, and they say, okay. They start to ask him questions. How many times did number 6 pass the ball? Well, I didn't count, but it seemed like, you know, in the neighborhood of 25, 30. And they'll ask him a few more. And then, what about the monkey? How many times did the monkey? And without fail, about 95% of them will say, what monkey? They didn't see it. Now, to get back over here, I am amazed at how many people don't see homeless. They don't see problems that exist. They look past it or around it. They don't want to come face to face with it. What's the best way to get their attention and say, we got problems, you can possibly help? What do they need to do? Any way to draw on that?
You know, for youth services specifically, I think it's just kind of like you said, acknowledging that it's happening. I think a lot of the young people that we work with day in and day out, they've said a lot of times, you know, what's one thing that you want the community to know about you? And many of them say, you know, that I'm not a criminal, I'm not dangerous, I'm not a bad person, I'm just really experiencing a tough time right now. And so maybe, you know, I think a lot of that is just education.
So bonding is critical.
The humanizing
Absolutely.
Experience, yeah.
It is critical to the growth and well-being and wellness of the child you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
very grateful that you both agreed to come in.
Yep.
We want to do this again, okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all the time we have for this edition of Perspectives. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.